has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. You can catch the Bowden Blitz podcast on SportsGrid every week, and you can catch Coach Terry Bowden on Coast to Coast every Friday. Thank God for that. Coach, good to see you as always. Tonight, Oregon goes to Ross-Ade in West Lafayette, and Purdue gave Illinois all they could handle in Champaign-Urbana in an overtime game. I couldn't believe it after the way Purdue had been getting their ass kicked in every game. I mean, teams were just slicing them apart. But they look good against the ranked Illini. Can they catch Oregon coming off the Ohio State game, sleeping at all? Because they're laying 29 and a hook.
I tell you, I've got an urge to take take those points. I know Oregon's going to beat them, but they've got a lot of things. They come off a huge game. They were mentally into Ohio State for a lot of weeks, and now they're coming to a team that they can't show them hardly any good film except that last one. So although Oregon's going to win the game, but I tell you, I have a hard time going against that numbers for Purdue.
Tonight in Provo, this tough BYU team that's undefeated and ranked 13th, they're laying 9 to Oklahoma State. And the Cowboys have struggled of late. And we just saw what BYU did to Arizona at home in Provo. They put 41 on them. What do you think they do tonight against Gundy's Pokes?
Yeah, I think Gundy's Pokes are having trouble. They can't run the ball like they're used to doing. They can't find which quarterback they want to use. And Coach Gundy keeps saying we're going to get it straightened out, and they haven't been able to get it straightened out. BYU was picked 13th in the conference preseason, and now they're 13th in the top 25. They're on a roll. They've gotten more confidence every week. They're expecting snow possibly tonight in BYU. I'm picking BYU all the way to cover.
So tomorrow night in prime time at 7:30, Georgia and Texas at Memorial in Austin. Quite a weekend in Austin, Texas. They got a Formula One race. They got this big Georgia-Texas game. Texas has owned Georgia. They beat them 4 out of 5 meetings. No one's ever done that to Georgia before like Texas has. Texas laying 4.5 here, Coach.
Well, again, I don't know how far back that goes, but in the Kirby Smart era, I sure like the way Georgia's been playing since he's been the head coach. And I don't know if I can go with him on this one. I've got thinking Georgia's they're going to show up to this game. They're going to put it together. I think the athletes, the number one team is clearly Texas. But I got this feeling. I don't know if Georgia, they'll win by a field goal, but I don't know 3.5. But I have this feeling Kirby Smart's going to get that team. He's been in postseason play. He knows what the stakes are. Huge game for Georgia if they were to lose another game. I'm going with Georgia, and I'm going with Georgia to win the football game.
Whoa, look at Coach taking Georgia. Sweet. Alabama and Tennessee in Knoxville at 3:30 on ABC. Bama's laying 3, and they have owned the Vols through the years.
Well, they're going to own them again if the Vols don't know who they are or what they're doing. Josh Heupel got that job by throwing the ball vertically down the field and throwing the bubble screens on the outside, which opened up the running game. He now tries to run the football without the passing game to get people backing off, and he's getting killed. Thank goodness he has a great defense, but that's not the style he wants to play. So I think Alabama, when things like this, Alabama's defense has struggled to be sharp every week. Tennessee doesn't have a strong offense right now. When I see that, I go, who's got the best quarterback, the most experienced quarterback, the veteran quarterback, and that's Milroe and Alabama.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Coach. A good one tomorrow in Bloomington at Memorial Stadium at Indiana as the Hoosiers, undefeated, ranked 16th, 6-0 for Curt Cignetti. He's been incredible. They're laying 6.5 to a 5-1 rule-led Nebraska Husker team with Dylan Raiola. I think this is going to be a wild game. It's on Fox. It's their noon game.
Can you imagine before the year that we were going to see a 5-1 Nebraska playing a 6-0 Indiana? But let me tell you about Curt Cignetti. His dad, Frank Cignetti, was my dad's offensive coordinator at West Virginia, and he was my head coach. I grew up with Curt. Curt was a quarterback. He was a quarterback coach for Nick Saban in Alabama before he went into his head coaching period. They're brilliant on offense, and Curt is brilliant. He's won, I think, every game by 14 points or more. And he's going to keep it going because he sees what's going on here. And he's not just a new coach. He's been a veteran head coach for a long time. And like myself, he's the son of an outstanding football coach. His father was really a brilliant offensive mind, Frank Signetti Sr. And, of course, his brother, Frankie, is a coach in the NFL. But I think Kirk Signetti has got something special going on down in Indiana.
Man, they're lucky they got him because they have sucked forever in football. They haven't been good since 1967. Maybe once under Bill Mallory in 87 they were decent, but they've never been anything more than decent. It's a basketball school. I went to school there. Believe me, I was there for Bob Knight in basketball, not football. And to see them 6-0, I almost fell over. Illinois and Michigan. And I knew his dad, by the way, was a great legendary coach, Frank Signetti. He coached till the guy was like 100. Michigan and Illinois in Champaign-Urbana at 3:30. Michigan laying 3.5. They're 24th in the country. Illinois is 22.
Michigan's got so much uncertainty on the quarterback position. They don't have much of an offense. They play great defense, but Illinois can throw the ball now a little bit. And I think Illinois has got the outstanding football coach. And I just kind of lean toward Illinois here. I just feel like the way they're playing and what they've got going, they've got more answers that Michigan has, and Michigan's got more questions than Illinois has.
How about my Canes? Ranked 6th. They pulled a couple of them out of their arse, including the game at Berkeley. But I don't care what anyone says. You're down 35-10. You win 39-38. That's badass. They're laying 5 at a tough Louisville team. Noon tomorrow on ABC. I think it's going to be a good game.
Oh, it will be a good game. And Louisville is probably the toughest team. I think if they beat Louisville, which I believe they will, and they have to come out ready to play, they run the table till they get to the conference championship. They have got to come out of the locker room ready to play. They can't get themselves behind because the defense isn't playing sharp early. Cam Ward, for all of his greatness, he comes out sometimes lethargic. He makes a dumb decision early. Maybe it's just to show everybody how good he can make it up, but they have got to come out sharp because Louisville is good enough. If they get ahead, they can continue to match points with them and put them in trouble. But I am picking Miami because I think they've learned something the last couple of weeks. They must come out of the locker room, and we must see how they play that first quarter.
Virginia's 4-2. They're going to Death Valley to take on Clemson in Clemson. They're 5-1. They've been hot lately. Clemson's laying 20. It's at noon in the heat.
I'm going to tell you something. I was at Clemson as an analyst 3 years ago, and I was Tony Elliott's analyst, and I know Dabo, who coached for my brother at Clemson. I know Tony Elliott, and they are great friends, and Dabo's kind of a mentor. But Virginia will be lucky to play in this game. But you know what? I don't think Dabo will run it in. I don't think he wants to add the points on. I think he'll lay off at the end unless he's so far ahead at the beginning, the backup score too much. So I've got Virginia to get the points, but I think Clemson's going to beat them. But I think there's a special relationship between Dabo and Elliott. I don't think he won't rub it in. If he has a chance, he won't rub it in.
Does Army and Navy both stay undefeated? Army's playing East Carolina. Navy's playing Charlotte. Do they both stay undefeated?
Absolutely. And it'll be a fantastic situation if those guys can run the table, and then the college football playoffs got to make some big decisions. Because tell me how many people would love to see Army or Navy in the college football playoff. May not happen, but would love to see it.
So Notre Dame's going to the Benz in Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. That game is not at Bobby Dodd. They're playing it in the Falcons Stadium. And Super Bowl in 2028 will be there, Super Bowl 62. Georgia Tech will not have King, their quarterback. They're going with the veteran backup that they have on the sideline. Does that ruin their chances against the Irish? It's Notre Dame laying 14.
Absolutely, absolutely. Notre Dame knows what they've got to do. The more they can distance themselves from Illinois, which was just an outlier. That's not the way they play. The more they can distance from that game, they know they are in the hunt for a college football playoff. And I think with Haynes King not playing, I think Notre Dame's going to win and Notre Dame's going to cover.
All right, Coach. Fabulous stuff. Great football tonight and all day and all night on Saturday. Enjoy the games, my man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, man. Take care.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That kid on the two-point conversion play was wide open on the right side of the end zone, and the kid threw it about 15 rows over his head.
People crystallized Georgia and Alabama. They put them on the shelf above everyone else, and they're just not there this year. I thought the kid Beck was great on Saturday, but they barely beat Mississippi State, who is porous.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High, let's see what Dave Roberts is saying about what they have to do now in Game 5 in Citi Field.
Very excited, of course, that they are one win away from the World Series, but there is still a lot more work to do. Here's Dave.
Emotions, probably. I'm still, we still have a lot of work to do. We got to win one more game this series. I love the way that our guys haven't let off the gas in the sense of, I think that, the outcome of the last two games, certainly if you watch the games, doesn't tell the story. And so the way we were able to add on the last couple nights has been huge to win a long series. I think we're just, so right now, I'm still kind of enjoying it a little bit, but I'm already thinking about Peterson tomorrow. So, yeah, we still got some work to do.
Yeah, you already heard Morency talk about how the Dodgers tattoo Peterson, and this guy Roberts isn't fooling me. He knows they're going to the World Series. We have work to do, long series, please. Honestly, they're on a roll right now with their bats, and I don't even – I thought Buehler pitched great, and then – last night they did it again. They scored 10 more runs. Who cares who's pitching? When you score 10 runs, you're not losing.
Not losing when you do that, that's for sure. You're right about Peterson, or Gabe was. Freeman, 6 for 19, 2 homers. Teoscar Hernandez, 2 for 5 with a homer. Muncy, 2 for 5 with a homer. Will Smith, 2 for 3 with a homer. Otani's 3 for 8 off of him, but hasn't homered. He probably will today. And the Mets on the other side, really not much off of Flaherty. Bunch of 0 for 3s from the other night. Winker does have some numbers. So they're in, they're in trouble. They got a big hole to get out of. As far as the numbers for this game, which starts in about 45 minutes, I just threw the pregame on here. Minus 135 for L.A., plus 115 for the Mets. 7.5 is the total. Every game has gone over so far, right? All 4 games have been to the over. Probably not much of a change in this one, I would have to think.
Oh, my God. How do you not bet the over? Honestly, they scored 10 runs a game. They're going to tee off on them again. They're so on fire. I think it's over today. It's done. They don't want to be anywhere near, let's face facts, the Mets don't even want to get on a plane and go out to LA because all they're going to do is lose there and come home. And it's like, it's the longest trip. The only thing that could be worse would be Hawaii. What I would do is go out there, lose, and then I would say, thanks, guys. I'll see you. I'm going to catch a flight to the Big Island. I need a vacation. That's what I would do right there. I would not go back with the team to New York. For what? For that depression flight? Are you kidding me? I hope they let them drink on the flight going home when they bend over out of Dodger Stadium. They're not even getting on that plane. I think it's over today.
Yeah, we'll see. Like you said, I'm not sure they're getting on that plane either tonight. Might just be one plane leaving. That's the one that takes the Dodgers back home after this one. All right, so there you go. And they do have the pregame. I wanted to mention this about the pregame. You know I don't like Ortiz to begin with. You know that I can't stand this guy. But I've heard him say like twice in the past 2 weeks, telling guys when they interview those players at the dais after the game, like last night with Betts, he's like, make sure you win tomorrow because I need a few days off. Big Papi, what do you work 20 days a year on the Fox coverage? I mean,
Listen.
honestly, he's like, I need a few days off. It's the 1 month of the year you work. Like, you're so eager to not have any more games. Get this guy out of here.
Let me just say
Ortiz.
this. Like, I watched, this is the other night in game 3. They played out there in Queens, and Jeter, A-Rod, and Papi all were wearing gloves. Like, at least Kevin Burkhardt was like, why are you guys wearing gloves? Like, it was 50 degrees, and Jeter said, I'm from Miami, man. Like, I get it, the thin blood stuff, living in Miami. At 50 is freezing if you're from Miami. It is freezing. But you cannot be that much of a sissy. You can quote me on this. How much of a femme do you have to be to wear gloves on TV? The only time you will ever see me in gloves is if I'm snow blowing in my driveway or I'm on a ski resort. Who wears gloves ever? Like, I go to play basketball, I go to the gym, I walk out in flip-flops in snow with shorts on, and these 3 femmes, you heard me, are wearing gloves on the set. I thought I was it was like a bad movie. I couldn't believe my eyes. Carver High, I know you saw it, the pregame show. They're all wearing gloves. What is this, Formula One?
I saw the
Who
gloves.
wears gloves? Movie stars wear gloves. Liberace wore gloves. I mean, who wears gloves?
I could see it from A-Rod. You know, I could see him. But look, all 3 of – just because, I don't know, he's strange. That's the only reason why. He's a weird dude. But they all
don't even wear gloves when it's 50.
They all played in the Northeast for a large Jeter's entire career. Ortiz pretty much his entire career. And A-Rod more than half of his career. Played in this in October. The gloves was a bad look. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. That was an awful
didn't
look.
have him on, and I know Kevin. I'm friends with Kevin.
He's a Northeast Jersey guy. He's not having it.
50 degrees.
He's not having any of it.
That's sweatshirt weather, bro. You femmes. Honestly.
Jeter even said at one point, he's like, like Burkhardt gave the temperature, and Jeter goes, "It ain't 50 out here. Oh, it's a lot colder than that. It's a lot. Go back to Florida." Everyone loves Derek.
Anymore. No one likes you here anymore.
Everyone loves Derek. Trust me.
No,
we don't need Derek. We don't need Derek on that show. He's not giving you much on the Fox show. That's for sure.
What a vanilla femme he is.
He's not giving you much.
Honestly, when they turned on the TV, I was like, "Oh my God!" I said it. I was sitting there, and I told 34C, I said, "Come here, look at these guys. They're wearing gloves. Like, who does that?" I go to Steeler games and I don't wear gloves. I put my hands in my pocket. I don't wear gloves to anything. You'll never see me in gloves ever. Gloves are for girls. Honestly.
We'll start all the football when we come back.
I'm 40.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That kid on the two-point conversion play was wide open on the right side of the end zone, and the kid threw it about 15 rows over his head.
People crystallized Georgia and Alabama. They put them on the shelf above everyone else, and they're just not there this year. I thought the kid Beck was great on Saturday, but they barely beat Mississippi State, who is porous.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, that was a bloodletting last night on Bourbon Street, Mike.
It certainly was, as Thursday Night Football to start week number 7. You had Sean Payton returning to Bourbon Street to see the Saints, first time as the Broncos head coach. And man, I'm glad. I know the baseball game wasn't great, but it really didn't have much to turn to over here on the other side with the football. 33-10. The Broncos with the win, and it wasn't even that close. But I will say this. Saints scored that garbage time touchdown. That's why something always matters, right, Scotty? That touchdown in the last minute, over the 36 and a half, with $1:22 to go from Hayner to Cedric Wilson. Here is Sean Payton, of course, very, very emotional, returning home to New Orleans.
But it meant a lot. Because there were a lot of moments here, and you get a chance to see old players that are here, and
we love you.
And then to be with this team and this ownership group, it's the reason you miss it. The 1 year out, and you miss relationships, and you miss making memories.
Was that when he was in Bounty Gate prison?
I guess the 1 year when he retired and stopped,
he was about when he was Bounty Gate.
He missed a year for that too. Yeah, he missed a year also when that came around. But no contest, 33-10, the final. Not good for Rattler.
They dominated him. They almost had 400 yards. They had 7 sacks. I mean, they racked Rattler, sent him to the sideline. That's what you do. You want to win a game, take the quarterback out, and that'll be the end of it.
Take him out.
Hayner came on. He threw the garbage tutty. But, I mean, they had a 50-plus yard scoop hizzy score, the defense, 2 fumble recoveries. It was awful.
Yeah, sweep the leg, no mercy. That's how it goes.
And that's what the problem. Mike, they're finished.
They also lost Shaheed for the year. He's done. So they went and had knee surgery for him. So that's another one. Olave, of course, missed the game with a concussion. I saw Allen say this morning he thinks Carr is going to be back in week 9. What's the point by then? They're going to really be finished at that point. So 2-5 for the Saints. they're already finished. All right, let's start to get into Sunday now. Pain day for us, Scotty, that's for sure. And we will start with the Jets and the Steelers. Let's go right to Sunday night for these two. And it will be, I want to give you the Fields first, because remember he said this yesterday, that he hasn't played well enough to keep the job.
I mean, I don't think I played, good enough, if I'm being real with you. If I'm being real with myself, I think if, I did play well enough, I don't think there would be, any sort of who should be playing, who should not. So at the end of the day, we got a few wins. Of course, I'm glad about that, but, there's areas that, I could be better at, and, I'm just going to, continue to work on those and continue to get better.
So what's going to happen is, I think inevitably he's just going to leave Pittsburgh. That'll be that. He's going to leave. He's one and done in Pittsburgh, and I think they've adequately screwed this up, nice and juicy. Like, here's a guy that they're paying $3 million to that won 4 games, could have won all 6. They was 6 points away from winning all 6. They had the ball in Indy with 2.5 minutes left to go, and they got it up to the 40-yard line, and then they fumbled. And then it was, 2nd and 21, and they never recovered from that. Then he gave them the lead against the Cowboys late, and they still blew the game against Dallas in Pittsburgh. Otherwise, they're 6-0, and no one's even asking this question, and Russell Wilson's still standing on the sideline. Inevitably, the money became the issue that they got to play this guy because they pay him all this money. So, and I think that Fields at $3 million is just one and done. He'll be gone from Pittsburgh faster than you can spit. There's no way they're signing him to a deal to be a backup. I just don't believe it. I think it was a 1-year deal because he knew he was going to play at some level, and that would be it. An audition, he got his reel ready to bolt out of Pittsburgh and get another job somewhere else because there are a lot of crappy quarterbacks in the NFL. There really are.
I agree with you that he's going to be gone at the end of the year because somebody else, there's a lot of bad quarterback play around the league. I think people will see enough from him this year that they'll want to take a chance on him. And 2, they're not paying Wilson anything either. He's getting $40 million from the Broncos this year. They gave him, he went to the Steelers for peanuts. I think Mike just promised them. Tomlin said, I promise you, you're going to play. And that's what it came down to.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That kid on the 2-point conversion play was wide open on the right side of the end zone, and the kid threw it about 15 rows over his head.
People crystallized Georgia and Alabama. They put them on the shelf above everyone else, and they're just not there this year. I thought the kid Beck was great on Saturday, but they barely beat Mississippi State, who is porous.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Tomlin won't say who he's going to start. He says he's keeping it in-house, so we'll just do it for him. He's starting.
Words of wisdom ahead of the Jets on Sunday night.
We got some challenges, obviously, in the special teams game. We got to look for a winning edge there from a field positioning perspective. We got to continue to work to build off the traction that we kind of gained in that area. We got a big week ahead of us, man. It's primetime ball here in Pittsburgh. We respect that. It's important to me that we respect that through our actions in prep, the type of urgency, the type of detail, the amount of communication. We need to have good days leading up to this if we want to have the type of fun that we desire to have on Sunday night.
The Steelers have owned the Jets through the years. I'm concerned about Russell Wilson starting. It is what it is. I still got to take him in primetime over to Jets in Pittsburgh because of their pass rush and defense. I think they can give Rodgers problems. He's not fleet of foot. And so if they can get to that pocket and get him down and rough him up a little bit, I think the Jets might have some problems moving the ball. But they got all the receivers now, Lazard, Wilson, Adams. They're dangerous now. I mean, receiving-wise, let's see if he has enough time to throw the ball. The Steelers' pass rush is pretty sick.
I'm with you on the Steelers, who are plus 1.5 right now. Dogs at home. Tomlin dog at home. I'm always going to be in. 38.5 is the total. Don't have much concern for that. I'm just going to ride with you with the black and gold here on Sunday night against the Jets. And look, you know, they got nobody else to blame for Rodgers. Like you just said, you just rang them all off. All the shiny toys that he has at his disposal, having his best friend back on the team. I hope it starts with a dud on Sunday night. A big dud.
And I think it could be, in terms of timing and everything, we'll see. But I don't trust Russell Wilson's timing at all. I think the Steelers' offense will struggle with him. We'll see. But I'm leaning under. I'm leaning defense. Both of them have a defense. Jets have a D. Particularly, the back end. I think Wilson will have trouble throwing the ball against them. Sauce and company. And then I think that Steeler rush D and pass D is going to be overwhelming for Rodgers and the Jets. I don't think they're going to have a big night running the ball against the Steelers or throwing it. We'll see. Throwing it timing-wise, how much time will he have in a pocket to throw? If he gets rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds, he should be fine. If he has to have any more time than that at all, he could be on the ground.
He could be indeed. Also Sunday, rematch of last year's Super Bowl. The Chiefs heading to Santa Clara against the 49ers. 4:25 East kick out at Stonewashed Jeans. Here is Patrick Mahomes. Always loves facing off with the other best teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's as big as a regular season game you could play in. But I mean, they're a great football team, and I always like going up against the best, and that's what we're going up against this week. And so we understand that it's going to be a big game. We understand that it's going to take our best to win. And so you just have to have extreme focus and know that it's going to be one play that kind of decides the entire game.
Didn't we both say Niners yesterday? I'm not going to back off of that now. I mean, I know they never lose. I know Reed never loses off a bye, 21-4. I know this guy never loses as an underdog, 11-1-1 against the spread. So why not go the other way and lose money?
I'm not backing off either. Niners minus 1.5, 47.5 is the total. Let's go Niners here in the late window on Sunday. Why not? Let's go and get it done. Other big game on Sunday, Lions and the Vikings. NFC North, 5-0 Vikings, 4-1 for Detroit. Jared Goff on the huge matchup.
It's important because it's a division game, and they're at the top of the division, and that's why it's important. But if we were playing Green Bay or Chicago, it would be equally as important. But, it's a division game. It's our first division game, and it's one that you definitely want to win.
How much do you keep tabs on the division at this point of the season with every team being 4-2 or better?
How much do I keep tabs on it? Yeah, I know they're 4-2, and I know the Vikings are 5-0, and that we're 4-1. So, yeah, it's a pretty good division.
I mean, duh. So it's been incredible. And the division itself has won 13 games in a row. We'll find out. Somebody's going to lose. I like Detroit. They beat them 3 straight times. I do believe a little bit. I'm going to say this a little bit. I think the Vikings are a little smoke and mirrors. I think they've had a nice schedule. I think they've looked really good. I don't deny Flores' defense is tough. I think O'Connell's a good coach. I think Darnold's played really well. He's got good receivers. I still believe at the end of the day that the Lions are more loaded and are a better team. I do think they're better. I think they'll go in there and beat them.
I'm with you. 3 for 3 so far. Lions plus 1.5. I'll take them on the road. 50.5. Very big total. I kind of like the under in that game. I like the under 50.5 with the Lions and the Vikings. Bit of a black and blue collar type of game. That's going to be won, 23-20, something like that in that area. All right. The Eagles heading to MetLife against the Giants on Sunday. What does that mean? The return of Saquon Barkley. Yesterday we played him saying he doesn't think he's going to get booed. He's wrong about that. And here's one of our favorite ones ever. Another coast-to-coast staple from these players. It's just another game, Scotty. Barkley going back to play the Giants. It's just another game.
I don't know. I'm still processing that, I guess. I'm going to treat it the same week I always treat it. I'm always on the mindset every game is important, every game is special. You never know when your last one's going to be. But, obviously there's some history there for sure, especially going back there. It'll be interesting. So I don't have an exact answer. I'll probably have a better answer later on in the week.
Yeah, he'll have an answer after the game if they win, and then he'll be wonderfully helpful. Otherwise, if they lose, he probably won't be very pleasant. They're better than the Giants. That team has been very sluggish, and there's no doubt they got issues, the Eagles, but they got better players. That's just all there is to it. To me, the Giants have one guy on offense in Neighbors who's going to play, and they got one guy on defense. I'll give you two. I'll give you Lawrence and Burns. That's it. 3 players on the whole team. I mean, the Eagles got 3 or 4 guys on offense, let alone defense.
They certainly do. That's for sure. Right now, it's straight 3, flat 3 for the Eagles on the road here. 42.5 is the total. Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors did clear concussion protocol. He's back in the lineup. He's also dealing with a hamstring issue that apparently he got yesterday. So Neighbors right now, Scotty, kind of made of glass a little bit.
What is the problem? I mean, the guy's like 22 years old. He's got like 34-year-old guy injuries, concussions, hamstrings. What is next? I mean, honestly, what is happening here? Is this guy soft? He's such a great player. I don't understand. What, he run a route at practice and now he's pulled up lame? You've got to be kidding me.
You do got to be kidding me, that's for sure, right now. So we'll come back, Scotty. We'll get into the rest of these. And I think the Eagles are going to smash it, by the way, coming up this week. We'll come back. We've got to get through the Browns and the Bengals. Burrow's had lots of problems with Cleveland. And then the rest of the games, our final London game, thank God, with the Jaguars and the Patriots early on Sunday morning.
What could be worse than that game?
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That kid on the 2-point conversion play was wide open on the right side of the end zone, and the kid threw it about 15 rows over his head.
People crystallized Georgia and Alabama. They put them on the shelf above everyone else. And they're just not there this year. I thought the kid Beck was great on Saturday, but they barely beat Mississippi State, who is porous.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so what is Joey Silk saying as the Bengals are getting ready for the dog pound in the Browns?
They are getting ready for the dog pound in the Browns. Believe it or not, Scotty, interesting one for you in this game. Burrow has never won in Cleveland. He has had all kinds of problems here. Now, this is a much different Browns team that he is going to face this week. After a win last week, they are starting to feel that they need to rack up these wins every week. Lots of urgency.
You know, ideally we'd be 6-0, but that's not where we're at. And that's just the way this year has played out. There's a lot of urgency in the building to go and win games. I think guys are handling it the right way. You know, we had a good day of work today. It's really just about practicing and trying to get better every day. It sounds cliche, but that's what it comes down to.
Okay, he just seems so bored with all of it, doesn't he? You know, for all that $60 million he makes, and those lack of rings he has, and Super Bowl failings that he has, and his coach with his horrible decision making, and they're 2-4. They have to win this game. The question is, he never wins there. He's never won there, and they're laying 5.5. So do you bet the 5.5 with the Browns? Because they always beat this guy there. Now, they got rid of Amari Cooper, and I don't think they're done selling. And their coach is being forced to play this hack quarterback that is no more worth $260 million than the entire franchise is worth money. Honestly, think about it. What are you going to do here, Carver High, with this game? Because the Bengals have to beat the Browns. But are they going to cover 5.5? That's the question. I doubt it.
You know, I watched them cover
against the Eagles.
That's what I'm saying. I just watched the Browns cover last week in Philly, right? Like, at home, rivalry game, team that they usually play well against. I think I'm taking the points with the Browns. I don't think they win the game. I don't think they win the game, but I feel like this game could be ugly and they lose like 20-17 or something like that, and it's a weird game. I'm going to take the points here.
From
I'll
your
take the
lips
5.
to God's ears. Didn't the guy say today that God's a Cleveland fan?
Well, that is true. Hopefully, look, I don't want to get into
It's
it.
a holy issue now.
Don't
it is
hang,
a holy issue.
hang around
to challenge the Lord on the show based on how many times I've seen him in that Catholic church. He gets nervous when we start talking bad about God. So when God is in on sports betting, I know there's a big factor here. I know that, touchdown Jesus, constantly helping the Irish cover spreads. There's a lot of religion involved in sports betting. You can feel it.
You certainly can. The Raiders are...
Where's George Carlin when I need him? Honestly.
The Raiders are going to Los Angeles to play the Rams this weekend. Not the biggest game on the card, that's for sure. But here's Max Crosby yesterday. I thought this was very telling. We know that Devontae Adams is out of town now. The Raiders are a bit of a sinking ship. And for the first time, it kind of sounds like Crosby wants to get off the ship as well.
Yeah.
I'm not here to rebuild. I'm here to win. So, I don't know whatever that means. But, yeah, I'm here to win now, and wherever I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be here to win. So that's all that matters to me.
He wants out of Vegas just like Adams did because he knows that A, it's a joke franchise. It is. And their owner's a joke. And now he's starting to see that Antonio Pierce is a phony too. Like that guy, wasn't he literally the other day wearing like Lions stuff? He was wearing Lions stuff at practice. The guy, because people said he was going to play for the Lions. So didn't he come out in like some kind of Lions shirt or hat?
Yeah. Remember, he went to Eastern Michigan. He's one of those, there's some connection up there.
I mean,
Lions need a replacement for Hutch.
I would, if I were Pierce and that guy walked out on that field in that hat or shirt or whatever it was, I would snap. I'd be like, you're done for the day. Just go home.
Not ideal.
Go home. You're done. This is no joke. You can't be wearing some other team's garb and colors at the facility, at practice. And he's doing interviews now saying, I just want to win wherever it is. Wherever it is means he wants out. And you know what? He is a badass. My man is scary. That dude, I am scared to death of him. How about when he'll stand up? He reminds me of Ted Hendricks. I mean, he's the second coming of Ted Hendricks. This guy is absolutely fearless, and he'll take on anybody. And how about when he'll point his finger over the line and tell something to the quarterback, like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you today. You better watch your mouth. I'm going to kill you. And he means business, that dude. I mean, if I'm in Nam and we got to take out a village, I'm asking him if he could help me out. I need you for a couple hours. Max, can you come with me? We're going to kill some women and children and burn the village. Send him in there. My man is nuts.
He certainly is. There's no doubt about that. They're getting 6.5 points at SoFi against the Rams, who it looks like are going to get cut back maybe. 43.5 is the total in this game. This is like a no thank you for me. You like something in this game?
For me, listen,
okay.
I think the Rams stink. And there is something wrong with them for sure. And listen, the Raiders are bad, but 6.5 against another bad team sounds about right to me. That might end up being a 5-6 point game. 6 and a hook. Here we go again with a number over 5.5. I'll take the points.
As we know, those numbers over 5.5, they have been very good. That's for sure. All right. They're about to get started. They're still about 15 minutes away, according to this, for the Mets and the Dodgers. Game number 5 out at Citi Field. I guess you could say a late arriving crowd at Citi as they keep showing the stadium, and there's really nobody there yet. So either they've lost some hope, or Friday afternoon New York City traffic. One or the other.
Everyone's at the bar getting drunk because they can't take watching them give up 10 runs a game.
That could also be the answer. You never know. But we'll do the rest of the NFL games when we come back.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That kid on the 2-point conversion play was wide open. on the right side of the end zone, and the kid threw it about 15 rows over his head.
People crystallized Georgia and Alabama. They put them on the shelf above everyone else, and they're just not there this year. I thought the kid Beck was great on Saturday, but they barely beat Mississippi State, who is porous.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Man, we've been going rogue with some of these NFL bets. I am telling you. Rolling it. Listen, all the favorites covered, and they were, they cleaned out the books. I am telling you, somebody's getting bent over this weekend. One way or the other, they're getting their money back. It is going to be a public bloodletting. And you know it's coming because they're all laughing all the way to the bank and making all this money, and everybody won every bet. Even Kaplan was bragging. Everybody's a genius. Well, everyone's a genius in the NFL until the week that comes back and slaps you right across your face.
That's precisely what happens sometimes. You got to be careful. All right, here's the rest of the NFL slate. Final London game, thank God. Pats and the Jaguars. This one's at Wembley, -5.5 for the Jags. Imagine being so bad that you're getting 5.5 points from the Jaguars. Think about that. If you're the New England Patriots, 41.5 is the total.
Yeah, I actually think the Jaguars are going to win this game by a tutty or more. I do, because I think the Patriots are that bad.
They are bad. Encouraging with some of the stuff May did last week, but still very bad indeed. The Titans are in Buffalo against the Bills. Will Levis is questionable according to today's injury report. So if he can't go, you know that it'll be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Bills -8.5, 40.5 is the total here. Of course, they'll get to show Cooper off for the first time as well.
Well, he went there and beat Buffalo, didn't he? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He went and beat him in Buffalo last year with the Steelers. So I'll take those points. It sounds to me like he's playing. I'll take the points. Bills win and Titans cover with his nose so bright. Lead us through the night, Rudolph.
The Texans go to Green Bay. Another good game in the 1 o'clock window here. Packers -2.5, 47.5 is the total.
I'm on Green Bay, and I'm laying, but I am concerned because I'm seeing all kinds of people think that they're just going to win this game so easily. I mean, this is not going to be easy at all. Houston is good. They will score. I like this game to go over, and I like the Packers, but I'm scared to death based on how many people think that it's going to be Green Bay. I really am. I think the public is going crazy for Green Bay betting this thing, and you're dancing with the devil. The Texans are a good football team.
They sure are. Seattle takes the long trip from Seattle all the way to Atlanta, GA. Falcons -3, 50.5. Another heavy total here with the Hawks and the Falcons. Pair of birds.
Yeah, I like the Falcons here at the Benz at home. I think Cousins and that offense will click in that stadium, and they will beat Seattle. I think the Seahawks, for my money, have been very average.
I'm with you. I'm on the Falcons in that game. Next, Dolphins into Indianapolis against the Colts. Richardson will start for the Colts on Sunday. -3 for them, 43.5 the total.
Man, do I have a bad feeling about this game for them with him playing. If it's Flacco, I think the Colts roll. With him playing, I literally feel like the Dolphins are going to be in the game. I think the Dolphins are going to upset them.
I like the Dolphins to win outright. I think they are going to beat them. I think that Huntley, after the bye, he's worked with McDaniel. They're going to get Hill a lot more involved, and that's where I'm going with that one. And finally, Carolina goes to D.C. against the Commanders. 8.5. Very big number here. 51.5. Another really big total.
Yeah, I think that it's going to go under that, but I think that Washington will win that game by 20. I think they're going to win like 30-10.
Yeah, I think they're going to win as well. That total's going to. I think it's an under. I don't think Carolina's going to score that much. Most popular bets, you said it, could be a bloodletting this week. You never know. 81% are on that Commander number over Carolina. 81% on the Chiefs. How about that? Eagles 76, Lions 74, Rams 70, Bengals, Bills, Dolphins, Falcons also above the 60% of the public bets.
Yeah, listen, whatever. The one game I said I was worried about was the Green Bay game, that a lot of people think Green Bay is going to win that game, and I think they got their hands full. I like Green Bay too, but I don't like being like everybody else. You know what I mean? I'm not into that, oh, look, everybody's betting them. And I'm like, oh, God, if everybody's betting them, they're all going to lose their money. That's what I see.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like when everybody is on the same thing as me. We'll come back. I have touchdowns, and then we'll get into the college football with Rich.
He already has more than 1,000 yards. The last 3 running backs to win the Heisman, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Reggie Bush, did not have more than 650 in their opening 5 games of the year. Ashton Genty on pace to strike the pose in December.
Statistics matter. Blow every record out of the water, and he will be a Heisman. Disgraceful performance by the head coach, not Gene.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
I do a sliding DiVincenzo to the 1. Obviously, Terrence Shannon Jr., that is actually dynamic offensively and defensively. So we'll see how it works. I think it's a little bit of a work in progress. Do both teams win? Yes. I don't think at the end of the day, Minnesota could have afforded to keep Cat, Rudy, and Ant with that amount of money.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I do think they come back, and I think they win this game, but they've got to do it decisively. I think they've got to get that confidence back because they went out there, and like I said earlier, Kentucky almost beat Georgia. Kentucky almost did beat Ole Miss, and I think what you're going to see in this conference, if you don't play well and you're a top 10 team in the SEC, you're going to get knocked out by one of those top 25 teams in the SEC if you're not ready to play.
Powered by SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stats.